If you're a heat and air machine technician or even a salesperson, what does line of sight have to do with your rapport process? And why does this matter? This is a super important question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live for HVAC Technician Secrets on HVAC Technician Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. Even Scott Sylvan Bell screws up. So here's the thing. When we talk about rapport and the rapport building process, there's a lot that goes into it. There's things that you have to think about. And if you walk into a home or if you walk into an office, there are items that you really need to look for and take a look at. Now, today I'm in Austin, Texas, and my line of sight is buildings, right? They're putting up these magnificent buildings. You can't see the state capitol anymore, but that's okay. And you're like, Scott, how does this have to do with rapport? Get to it. I promise you I am. So when you walk into an office building, when you walk into a home, there are trophies that people put up on their walls. There's trophies that people have. And sometimes it's good to talk about them and sometimes it's not. Now, in an office building, you know, a lot of times they're going to have awards up front, things that the company's done that's amazing, things that they want to talk about. Those are items that you can have a discussion about. Hey, tell me about this award. What did it take to have it? You know, what did it take for your company to achieve that? What did you have to do to get there? Okay. Now, the deeper that you get into the building, the more personal those items are going to be, because what happens is from the front of the room, front of the building, you have public facing stuff. And as you get through the building, you're going to have more personal things on a desk. So if you're doing some commercial sales and you go into a building, you can absolutely ask about the content that's on the walls, the trophies, the pictures, the images, the videos that are playing. Those are all abilities for you to talk about what that person's doing. And this is why you should join my email list. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. And what that means is private coaching, private training, discounted coaching, discounted training, or free coaching and free training. Just type that URL in your browser. After this video is done, I'll give you the goods, I promise. Now, let's say that you do some sort of in-home sales. In the front of the home are going to be the things that people are proud of that they publicly display. They're super excited to talk about. But as you go deeper into the home, those are the more private, sensitive areas. And so sometimes you may think it's an amazing thing for you to have conversations about some of those private things, but that can go awry. You can create yourself some problems. So I would say, hey, rule number one, you can talk about things at the front of the house and the front of the building. But rule number two, you have to earn the right to have those deeper conversations. You have to earn the respect of the person you have to talk about some of those more personal things. I wouldn't just kick down the door and start those conversations, right? There's an entrance to this. And this may be against what people have told you in the past, but I have been on enough ride-along calls and I've met enough people to know that there becomes a point that as you have these conversations, you're going to find what's in norm or in what's normal and what's out of norm. And you really want to pay attention to this, because like sometimes people come in like, Scott, you were with me. Why did I lose the deal? And I'm like, ugh. Do you remember we were on that ride-along and you started talking about XYZ thing, about that private thing, about the things that were going on way back inside of the house? And like, yeah, I'm like, you didn't earn the right to have that conversation. You could have talked about it. You probably needed about 15 more minutes. You needed a little bit more rapport. Or when we go into an office, hey, Scott, why did I lose the deal? Why was that a problem? Like, well, you know, you didn't start up front and work your way. You went straight for the jugular. You're like, hey, it's right there, right? There it is. There's the artery. We're going to go right for there. Pay attention. Line of sight's important. I got this friend, Chris, on the outside of his house. This is one way for you to figure this out. You're like, hey, Scott, how do I figure this out? We're going to talk about my friend, Chris. When you walk out of his garage, like line of sight out the garage, what's the first thing that he sees? Tractors, his truck, things that he's done with his kids. So if you're like, hey, Scott, how do I know what to talk about when I go somewhere? Take a look at the doors. What are the doors facing, right? Like my perfect yard is concrete or rocks. And if someone's like, hey, that's great concrete, I'd be like, you know why? Because I hate mowing the lawn. But if I had tractors like out of the front door, That would be one thing to talk about. Now we're going to reverse that too. So like looking into the front door. When I was a kid, going into the house, the first thing you would see was a picture of my family. I'm the best looking out of the 6 kids. So there was me and the rest of my brothers and sisters and my parents, right? That was important to my parents. Family was important to my parents. So if you went to their house, line of sight says, these are the items that you could talk about. Now, as you went down the hall, there were the graduation pictures and there were all the other pictures of my less good looking brothers and sisters and my less fun family. You know, as you got into the kitchen, there was displays and things about the kitchen. But just realize, for some of the more personal things, you kind of have to take some time and earn the right to have that conversation. You've got one of 3 things to do from here. Just one of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it, right? Click on it, because that would be fantastic. 2, if this is social media, hit follow. Or 3, what would be really cool is you could be like to your friend, hey, friend, pal, buddy, dude, chick, I saw this video from this awesome dude named Scott Sylvan Bell. You should check it out. He's a pretty cool dude, which I believe is true. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.